We're now here with Brooklyn heartthrob, celebrity chef, and host of Marvel's Eat the Universe, Justin Warner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, thanks guys. I'm so pumped. I mean, this is amazing. Like this, like penthouse skybox view of all that's going on here in Comic-Con, and like, wow.
I mean, you originally came to us on Thwip, the big Marvel show, to do Eat the Universe because you are straight up a nerd in the best way possible.
That's true.
Yeah. And you made me eat snake, so cool,
Yes,
cool,
I
cool,
did.
Cool, 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 cool,
Oh yeah,
cool.
that's right. And I ate Devil Dinosaur.
Yeah, it's true. In a fossilized tomato.
Yeah, which was super crazy cool. You know so many cool things. Can you tell people a little bit about some of the awesome things that you've worked on and created?
Oh man, I mean, well, I'll tell you, the craziest thing, definitely the highlight of my career, is that it was almost like the Infinity Gauntlet, but of charcuterie. I swear.
A charcuterie gauntlet?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so the plate was nothing but condiments, and you wore this gauntlet of charcuterie, and then you would just devour your own hand.
This is my dream.
Yeah, it was amazing. I had to use some crazy techniques. So this crazy stuff called transglutaminase. That sounds so much better than meat glue, doesn't it?
No, I like meat glue.
All right, fair enough.
Meat glue so I could eat my fist.
Yeah, exactly. That was some crazy stuff. I mean, for you guys, like, man, when we were eating the monsters, that was nuts.
Yeah, that was so fun. All based on Monsters Unleashed and the big Marvel monsters.
That
which
was
is so cool.
epic. And the best, I mean, was when we made that killer Devil Dinosaur short rib. Oh, the picture of you eating that thing?
my gosh.
Man, you guys gotta like look it up.
My
right?
wife was so upset because she really wanted to eat it.
Oh,
and I was
bummer.
Telling her how good it was.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, but you're gonna make something special for us today.
Yeah. Well, so the only what I think Comic-Con appropriate gear I own thus far.
Is a super crazy sweet jacket?
Yeah, is this super crazy sweet jacket, and people for some reason really love it, and I also really love the cap'n. Believe it or not, this is dead true. Whenever I'm like confronted with moral crisis, I look to myself and I say, "What would Captain America do?" I'm dead serious.
Oh, you could get one of those bracelets.
Yeah, right.
Captain America.
I'm dyslexic.
Ooh,
you know.
okay.
Right.
You got it, nailed it.
So I tell you, I know everybody is pumped about Thor Ragnarok and all that's going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but right here, right now, I'm a Cap'n fan, and my favorite line in the entire MCU is "I'm just a kid from Brooklyn," because I am.
Oh.
Yeah, and so like I
Full
identify.
circle.
I know, right? Here we are. Hi, Mom. Look. And so what I wanted to bring today was something that I consider near and dear to Brooklyn, which is the meatball. But I wanted to kind of approach it the way that the captain would, which is with thoughtfulness, with mindfulness, with tactics, and ultimately with deliciousness.
Oh, that does sound like Captain America.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we got?
All right, let's dive in. All right, so pardon my my game show pointing. I like to do the open game show point. So thing number one, when you're going to have great meatballs, in my opinion, is two kinds of meat. Because if you only have one kind of meat, say this 80-20 blend of ground beef, more on that later, you're kind of just making a burger ball. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
I love burger balls.
It's not a bad thing,
Okay.
right?
Cool.
But in my opinion, it's a great way to use multiple kinds of meat because in the old days, say like, you know, in the Depression, you'd have scraps of all kinds of meat. You'd run it through a grinder, and then boom, you would just use whatever you had.
So if you
Newspaper,
had a
shoes,
leftover,
all the
charcuterie
glove. Yeah,
just
you just
throw
put
that
your
in.
whole hand in the grinder.
No,
Everything
don't do
is
that.
don't
Please
do that.
don't.
No,
Please
don't
don't
do
do
that.
that.
Disclaimer, don't do that. So check it out. Something when we're thinking about meat and when we're thinking about a good meatball is that we have to think about fat content. Now I know fat is like a word that's like no, but fat, my friends, is flavor. It's the terrible word moisture, but you need that in a meatball because a dry ball is bad.
Nobody likes a dry ball.
No, it's terrible, right?
No. I like them nice and moist.
Right, almost fluffy, about ready to fall apart, just enough structural integrity, you know?
Yep.
You know, whoever had such a bouncy ball that it rolled off of Old Smoky and onto the floor, that was a bad meatball maker. That person, no.
Right.
They're
Get
gonna
out.
They're,
You want your ball to not roll.
yes, exactly.
Got it.
A subtle bounce, maybe. Subtle bounce, gentle bouncing. But that's how you know you've made a good ball. So here, in order to kind of get a lot of fat content in this, we're using 80-20, which is 80% lean, 20% fat ground beef. We're also using some ground pork. Fat content, they don't even display on there, probably because it's so damn high.
But it's so tasty.
Right? It is so tasty.
Yeah.
So another thing we're going to use to kind of make this mixture go is very simply an egg. We're going to crack that open later. You don't need a lot of info on that.
Okay.
But the cool thing about the
I'm
egg...
familiar with those.
Yeah, you are? Hell yeah. It's got a little bit of fat, but also a lot of protein, and that protein cooks very quickly. As you know, when you cook an egg, the egg white cooks first. And so what that does is it binds the ball very quickly. Interesting, huh?
Right.
Keeps
Yeah.
the ball nice and tight.
All right, yes. So the next like pro tactical maneuver here is that if you're going to put any sort of filler in it, it better be dry or it better be pre-cooked, because otherwise you're going to have a lot of moisture in the meatball,
Right.
and that is water-based, not fat-based.
Right.
We all know like oil and water don't mix, right?
That's right.
So if you have a lot of wet ingredients, you're going to have a lot of the fat coming out of it because the water is going to repel it.
Because it's supposed to be fluffy.
Yes,
I should not lean on this table.
No
Just
one
gonna-
should. I feel like I'm stabling it with my Sonian abs.
Those are nice though.
Thanks.
I've got abs too.
So check it out. In here, we've got some garlic, some onion, this little green patch right here, and then some parsley and basil that I've chopped up. And I cooked that all together just till it was about translucent in order to kind of get its excess water content. Veggies always loaded with water.
Yep.
And that's not what we want in our ball.
No, we don't want veggies getting in the way.
Exactly. And you
Yeah.
see like the
Get out of the way.
proportions here of veggie, it's minuscule.
Right.
Just a little green in the ball.
Some people, you could go wild here. You could put any sort of herbs that you like. Some people like to go oregano in Italian food, but to me, oregano is very pizza-y, and I like to differentiate. Everything doesn't always have to taste like pizza, although now that I say that, that sounds
mean,
amazing.
Sounds pretty
But
good.
it could be like a basic ball. You don't want a basic ball. You want something different.
Exactly, something elevated, something lovely. So you could throw nutmeg in here. Maybe you swapped out this pork and you put lamb in. Okay, fine, do cumin over here. Maybe do some coriander. The meatball, the great thing about the meatball is that every culture has it. It's not just a Brooklyn thing. And once you follow these like captain certified tactics, you're going to be able to make a meatball out of practically any sort of ground meat.
So this is like a Howling Commandos.
Oh, hell yeah.
ingredients.
Oh, hell yeah. Look, I would say ground beef is definitely Cap. Like pork's probably Bucky Barnes,
Oh, okay.
Porky Barnes.
It's probably a character in Spider-Ham's universe.
Spider-Ham, my
so
dude.
into it.
Oh, I love that guy. I'm serious. When I was like 8 years old, Spider-Ham was like, who knew? It was like formative.
I know.
So great.
All right, so then we got some simple seasoning. Black pepper, salt. I think people say about 1 teaspoon per pound. I don't really like rules, and I love salt. So I've got maybe a little extra in this. Then we've got some bonus gear. If you kind of check this out, we've got some things you don't often see in the meatballs, like currants,
Like current events.
kind
Or-
of.
What?
And not like electro, like currants.
Dried currants. Currants are what kind of fruit?
They're tiny-
Just currants.
Yeah,
right?
they're tiny little berries. And
I don't know. I'm just being straight up.
Yeah, no, they're
Yeah.
tiny little berries. When you see them, oftentimes you'll see them around like holiday times.
Mm-hmm,
And so, because they're bright red and festive, these are Zante currants, and so they dry and basically look like little teeny tiny baby raisins, which is a cool thing.
Dope.
Yeah, so what they're going to do is absorb the moisture in here as opposed to it leaching out of the meatball. And then they're going to be like little, like slightly acidic and tart bombs of refreshness inside of this. We're basically making like kind of a cluster meatball. It's a meatball that has a bunch of little things inside. The same goes for these pine nuts, which are going to be raw and then kind of toast inside of the ball,
Right.
which will then perfume things. The last thing we need.
Nuts in the balls.
Nuts in the balls. You
Got it.
bet, buddy. This is kind of the secret soldier's serum of a good meatball. I have here some breadcrumbs. You could use any kind of breadcrumbs. You could use torn white bread. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to be stale.
Do you make your own fresh breadcrumbs, or you use?
No.
I know that answer. That's fine.
No, I mean, but here's the thing. Like, I'm using panko breadcrumbs, and people don't realize this, but these don't really come from, like, dried, ground-up bread. They're actually, like, sprayed dough that's shot in an electric field. Look it up,
Wait,
I swear.
shot into an electric
Yeah,
field?
they're like, it's like statically produced breadcrumbs.
So these are from Shield.
Pretty much, basically.
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Panko is like the extreme skater of
Oh yeah,
breadcrumbs.
yeah. It's a hover car
I love
basically
it.
of breadcrumbs. So then you can mix this with any liquid, and what this is going to do is just kind of provide some micro moisture throughout the ball. You could use chicken stock. You could use water if you're broke. You could use milk, or even better, you could use heavy cream.
Oh, snaps.
Right?
Thick.
It is thick.
That is very real.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we're going to mix that in right there,
Right.
and that's going to be the thing that powers this up. This is the thing. We have minions, don't we?
Oh, yes.
This is the thing, I tell you, that truly powers up a meatball and like makes it something supremely special. So let's crack this egg and mix it up. You got some gloves, partner?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
yes. This
thank
is
you.
the part I'm really looking forward to.
Glove.
Right?
Glovin.
There's a big trash can over there. Do you think I can hit the
Glovin'
3-pointer?
you.
Do you think I can do
Is
it?
latex 'cause it's
Oh, I did it!
beautiful.
Amazing.
Dootin' dootin' doo doo.
Thanks.
Gloves.
So these are our infinity gauntlets
Right, of
Of
sanitation.
of sanitation.
Yes.
Right. Can I
It
steal
has
one
the
more from you?
sanitation
Oh yeah, yeah.
gem.
Can I have one more? Here, take that
Thanks,
one.
buddy.
Yeah.
All right, so believe it or not, there's method to the mashing of a meatball, and that is that we don't want to mash it. You kind of want this to come together as loosely as possible.
Also, if we want to mime later,
Exactly,
keep
right?
these around.
Feels so
That was
funky
Mike
in
going
these.
through a door, right? It's very certain. I got large, just in case, you know?
Yeah, you did.
So anyhow, we're going to be gentle.
What?
So
We're going to be
gentle.
gentle with this.
Yeah.
Because the more you overwork meat, the more it becomes a puck, and the more bouncy it will become.
Okay.
Right? Because it's protein, so it's all going to mix together and kind of become one as it cooks. So I'm going to give it a couple gentle mixes.
So it's like a pie crust. You can't play with it too much or it gets crunchy.
There you have it.
I understand pie. I
Right?
speak pie.
All right, so I'm going to give it one gentle combine, and then you guys can try giving it a gentle combine. Ready? Like gently. Like so. And then one more over here. Break that up.
With
Oh,
your
thank you
legs?
so much. Yeah, you kind of want to treat it like you're folding a baby. That's the way I always look at it.
Familiar with this?
How many babies have you folded?
Well, if I were to fold a baby, I would fold it like this, okay?
Oh, okay.
It's a safe space. You're fine.
This is
Thank
like
you
a
so
what if
much.
issue.
Right. What if babies were foldable? I wonder what the watcher has to say like about that. He kind of looks like a baby, to be honest.
Right?
Get in there, Lorraine.
No,
No.
I think we should fold it together
Okay.
like we're in the movie Ghosts.
Well, then somebody's got to get behind me.
You're doing it. You're really
Here,
doing it. You're really doing
Should
it.
I come to you?
No,
my
we've
gosh.
got our
Okay,
microphones won't do it.
Okay, fair enough.
Next time we do an Eat the Universe, though, we're ghosting
We're going
this.
to definitely
Wow, who knew? Meatballs.
bring in people together.
Right? It looks good. It really does.
Have we
feels
touched
so
it too much or
funky.
not enough?
No, you're fine.
Should I just like put my fingers?
No,
in
no,
it?
that's mashing. Yeah, that's
Ooh. I
I
mashing.
want to make this into a shape.
Okay, a ball perhaps?
Oh!
That seems appropriate.
Makes sense.
All right, so check it out. What we're going to do, you see we have some stuff on us right here. We're going to fly in what I like to call Italian hand cream, which is olive oil. And we're going to make the next step in creating epic meatballs. And that
Okay.
is,
Our hands are so greasy.
and I just touched it with meat. I can't use my mouth.
Hey, offhand, put down the balls. Give me one of the.
All
Give us
right,
a
so
little turn.
It's all part of
Fantastic.
Thanks.
All right, perfect. So this honestly is a great thing. It just kind of feels good, you know?
the match. Oh, I feel like I'm
Give me some.
moisturizing
Yeah,
it without
right?
it doing anything to me.
I love olive oil so much.
Right? So good. Oh, look at that. Okay, so now this is going to let us lightly grab these balls and just make the most gentle balls. But before we make big balls, we're going to make little guys so that we can make a tester to taste if
Okay.
this is good enough.
Got it.
Because then we can come back and make seasoning adjustments, you know what I mean? So little guys like so. Not too much pressure. And they don't have to be
Too big?
perfect.
Too big?
No,
Half
that's perfect.
the ball?
That's perfect. That's
Oh,
perfect.
I already did it.
But look, just
Yeah.
gentle
gentle.
coaxing of it. Look at that. Oh my God.
That's a beautiful little
He's
ball.
a happy little
Right?
ball.
Right?
It looks like a little bit like a brain.
Right?
I wish we had smell-o-vision for the live stream.
It smells legit.
It's so good.
Right?
I know, Lorraine, you're not a.
Oh man. Herbs, garlic, meat, it's
Yeah.
all coming together.
It's pretty dope.
So you're going to test fry the little guys, and they're going to come
Okay.
out looking something like this over here.
Oh wow! It's almost like this happened.
Right? And so here, with the little tester, this is where you can make sure that you've made balls that are appropriately seasoned. You can come back and add anything at this point
Right.
before
so
you
smart.
put all your balls in one basket. All right, so we don't need these testers anymore.
Should I eat one?
I made 5 of them. Yeah, try one if you want. I didn't adjust any
Eat the
seasoning
one in the
afterward.
front because it hasn't been near my raw glove.
Whatever.
You'll be fine.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Not a joke, right?
Ryan, you gonna be okay? bud?
Hands up! It's so good.
Right? Are you getting the acidity from the currants? It's
Yeah.
fun, right? You get that little pop. It's like, whoa, hello.
It's like
Hi.
there's a party in my mouth, and everybody's invited.
All right, so now we're going to roll what I call entree balls.
Okay.
Entree balls are like so.
Whoa.
So smaller than a baseball,
Yep.
but
Oh, that's close to baseball size.
A little smaller than a baseball, yeah. Entree balls,
A little
an
gentle.
entree ball.
right?
Give it a little pat.
And so we can't really do a lot of cooking here, given that there's a massive quantity of people right below us. So things like hot oil, smoke,
Right.
sharp objects.
Sure.
Generally not something you want to bring around Comic-Con.
Nope.
For all y'all cosplayers out there, just so you know. Look at how shiny and lovely these are.
Yeah.
Aren't they amazing? Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna name him Harold.
Harold, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so look. Everyone understands now how to roll a meatball. You roll
Yes.
it gently. We can gloves off. And now we're going to use some TV magic. You can just throw them right in there. Don't worry about it.
Aw.
I'll
Hi,
roll them
guys.
up for the rest. Let's fly that out. And now we're going to talk about cooking methods. And this is where you really need to be a pro. These were golf ball size. That's fine. Look, they're cooked.
Wow, we did
Amazing.
it.
Yeah, fantastic.
Magic.
All right,
It's
so
like we had Doctor Strange use the time gem.
that was perfect. I thank God there were no, like, the Doctor Strange monsters creep me out the most, you know? I feel like they were,
Yeah,
like,
they
based
get
on, like,
super weird.
the things I dreamt about as a kid and scared me, you know? All right, so check it out. When I cook balls, I like to do it in a nonstick pan with oil. This is a nonstick pan. Some people call it Teflon. Everybody's got one. I also like to make sure that it is an oven-safe Teflon pan so that when I'm cooking these, I can get a nice sear on the outside. Look at that. That's what we call sear. See how it's got that GBD, golden brown and delicious look on it?
I just learned a new thing.
Oh, man. It's great. You'll be like, oh, GBD. Some line cooks can be like, bro, I hear you, man. I feel you on that. And so that GBD-ness is this thing called the Maillard reaction, which is what happens when you caramelize stuff, and that unleashes a whole volume of new flavors. If you are averse to flavor, you could certainly poach the meatballs in hot sauce. Grandmas do that. You
I
could
feel
just
like you
My
don't
grandmother
want us to.
always did that.
Right?
And sausages. She would put them right in the sauce.
Right in the
That's how
sauce.
she would cook it for like 12 hours.
So what I like to do is a combo of that. I like to brown them first, and then maybe throw them in the sauce, or even better, just brown them and leave the sauce separately so that we can have some fun with plating.
Ooh.
Shall we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
Let's.
it's gonna get very exciting. All right, so I've got a couple plates.
Just move it back.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe that should be fine. All right, we've got some finishing cheese. This is Parmigiano Reggiano. It's the actual real deal. This is sold by an American company, but produced in Italy. And real Parmigiano Reggiano, if you want to get up close there, will have this little sticker that says, "Hey, like we are the absolute real deal. Like you cannot call it Parmigiano Reggiano without it being." Oh, let's do it again, right there.
Yeah. Somebody, I want a tattoo
Right?
that has that. So
Yeah,
like, we
you're
know
official.
Legit.
We call you DOCG. It's like Denominación de Origen Contra el Gobierno or something like that.
Yep.
Basically
I've
means
said
like
that before.
this is like shield authority like cheese. It's the real deal. All right, so check it out. Everybody's got a plate. Now, let's see. Let's put this like round one right here. Now I have a very special spoon. You'll see that this is not only does it look like vibranium or something,
Yeah.
but it's a very cool spoon. The reason I love this spoon is because that it has a very narrow tip, but also a very wide bowl. So we can do fun things, like the spoon swoosh. Have you ever seen the spoon swoosh?
No, but I love spooning.
All right. Oh, I do too, actually. It's like truly the best thing, isn't it? All right, so check this out. I've got just a little ladle of sauce. We're going to plop it in a circle, like so. And then you only have one shot at this. The drag. The spoon swoosh, everybody.
All right.
Ah,
Right?
Spoon
Swoosh.
swoosh.
Right? That's one of my favorite plating techniques. All right, so then also you could drizzle, you know what I mean? Just a little bit. You have to have kind of a controlled hand, you know, and you have to rotate the spoon a little bit. We can, of course, come and clean it up later if you like. Boom. Perfect little
Ooh,
circle
like
there.
a perfect little
Like a
cap
perfect
shield.
circle.
Right?
Yeah.
And then there's the most modern approach,
Hit it.
which is the mess,
Oh, I would be good at this one.
right? It's like literally stand back,
Oh, I'm wearing white.
right? And so this is kind of like the interpretation of like, you know, chef madness on the plate, right?
You're the Jackson Pollock of cooking.
Yeah, thank you. So now really all you have to do is arrange the balls however you want, top with cheese, and send it out. So what would Justin do? Well, we'll find out. This is Cap's plating tactics, like so, like that. Right? And we're just going to leave it at 2 meatballs right there, because then we have nice, like, the mind and the eye likes 3, right?
Oh, I see.
Look at this. That looks almost like a meat shield, doesn't it?
It's a meat shield.
I know all about meat shields.
Right? The best thing is that this sauce is going to form a containment unit. It's going to be like a perimeter, you know? Cap would approve of that perimeter. As the juiciness of the meatball rushes out once you break into it, it'll be contained by all of that sauce.
This is
and
like
then-
a little meat war.
Right? And so then what I swear what the avant-garde chef would do, he'd get one meatball that's totally covered.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that was a secret meatball.
It was, right? He'd
Secret meatball is my new favorite.
Or she would put that off to the side because they love hiding stuff under sauce. And then they'd take another meatball and like break it up into like little avant-garde precious pieces, like they're boys from Brooklyn. They love stacking them like so, you know. And this would be like my mother's meatballs, but like kind of a half failure. All right, well, I mean, there's nothing left to do. Oh shoot, cheese. Other than cheese, who am I? All right, so check it out. I like to.
But that's what happens with actual like authentic.
It's true. It
Parmesan.
crumbles.
It-
It
yeah.
crumbles. Yeah. It ain't no shaker for life. You know what I mean? All right. I like to cheese from on high. Look at that. It's like winter, like a winter soldier.
Cheese is coming.
Right? It is. Look at that. Bang. Now, you know, you could serve these on warm plates and that cheese would melt into that and that would be something amazing. Let's see. I really had to work hard to get this through security, man. IKEA.
Grazie.
Dive in, Ryan. Let me know how it goes.
Oh man. Get some
Oh,
of
wow.
that.
Look, he's saucing it up.
It's really good.
Right?
Would you let it lead the Avengers?
Yeah.
Okay.
My favorite ball.
Would you unfreeze it and then let it lead the Avengers?
I would teach it how to dance.
And
Oh.
for the record, just like Captain America, these do freeze remarkably well.
Perfect, you guys. Be sure to check out Marvel's Eat the Universe. Also, where can they follow you online?
You can see me at Eat Fellow Humans across all boards, including video games. And you can check me out soon on Food Network, Guys Grocery Games.
That's it
Yeah,
for
cool.
us.
I'm just gonna keep eating.
Thanks, man. With great sacrifice, you know? Really stepping up.
Oh my god.
That's the captain speaking right now.
Bye, guys.
So, yeah.